right? So there is bottom-up obstruction when things get farther away. No doubt about it. You cannot deny it. But what causes it? That's the question. Is it the curving surface of the earth, or is it some other thing that flat earthers have proposed? Typically, they just propose something that's a vague collection of words. They'll say things like refraction, diffraction, angle of attack. Give me in the chat here. You can participate with the ones you've heard. Um, um,
On a nice clear day with no inferior mirage, the horizon goes off to infinity. There is no bottom-up obstruction. So yeah, we can deny it, bro. You haven't done long-distance photography, so how would you even know? But you keep lying, don't you?
right. So there is bottom-up obstruction when things get farther away. No doubt about it. You cannot deny it. So you need to provide the formula for flat Earth that predicts the bottom-up obstruction. What?
So the prediction is 0 on a nice clear day. I don't think that's what the globe predicts on a clear day, but that's what we see in reality. So here's Celsi from Worthington with a couple foot viewer height, almost 18 miles away. And where's the bottom up obstruction? You say, well, if you look further, it'd be there. No, because Isle of Wight's almost 40 miles in the background. Still no bottom up obstruction, bro.
Perpendicular, but for some reason the part up here isn't obstructed, just the part down there. None of these things work, flat earthers. None of your proposals work. So here's what I want flat earthers to provide. You won't. No flat earther will do this. Guaranteed. In science, you make a hypothesis, and then you compute the consequences of that hypothesis. Your hypothesis is refraction, diffraction, angle of attack, perspective, curvilinear perspective, foreshortening, limited field of view, all sorts of things that you say that it is. Whatever that is. How do we compute the consequences of that claim?
Later on in the video, I'm going to show you where your own globe science fails. So there's refraction, okay? Here's compression, limited angle, all the things you act like don't exist.
None of any of those things actually make sense because, and this is super important for you flat earthers, this doesn't make sense because if any of those reasons were why you didn't see the distant objects bottom up, you would still see the gap between the surface of the water, because these are usually over water, the surface of the water and the part of the object that you can see. There'd be a gap there. It just be blurry in most of the proposed explanations. You just have a blurry part.
So you say the way we predict it, there'd be a gap there at the bottom and it'd be blurry. So kind of like that, Toon, kind of like reality. And you say it while laughing. And literally on a clear day, that's what we see. Also, you said that flat earthers can't zoom in and pull back the bottom of things. So where's the legs? Let's zoom in and see if we can get the legs back. And what do you know? We're missing the bottom. We zoomed in and there's the legs. Bro, you're getting almost unbearable to watch.
Refraction in the air makes distant things appear slightly higher.
How do you know it makes things appear higher? Have you ever verified any of this? So here on the screen is globe science. The picture on the right is the way they describe refraction. They create a density gradient. But look at the city, it's lower. And the bottom's missing with line of sight. So even if the light's behaving the way you claim, the effect is not the way you claim. You've never verified any of this. You're just saying that because that's what it would have to do to fit your model, bro.
Right at the beginning, flat earthers do not want to actually test their claims. Cult leaders and cult members never like having their claims tested.
Okay, so we never do tests. Okay, here's a PhD in optics doing a test, which you'll just deny. And I mean, now you're just insulting everybody, calling us cult members and cult leaders just because Austin humiliated you the other day in a debate. Bro, it happens. Get over it, man. You ain't got to make shit up, bro. I'm going to show you floods of people taking all their time to try and bring people the truth that can't get out there. They're spending their own money, showing you lasers from miles and miles away, showing you mirror flashes, Just loads of people. Do you think they're all liars? For you to just sit behind your computer and make shit up on how refraction works when you can't even demonstrate it, and when you do, it does the opposite of what you claim it does. So even if light does refract downward, what the effect is not what you're claiming. We don't see shit higher. You're just lying, bro. And it's getting old. At this rate, we'll never progress. You act like there's no refraction, there's no compression, just Earth curve and 7/6R. Getting old, bro. Getting very old. So when you ask for one equation to give you for how refraction works, that's not honest, bro. Why don't you go test these things? If you would stop projecting and go out and test things, you would see that there are multiple effects.
Right at the
like
beginning,
we say
flat earthers do not want to actually test their claims.
It's unbelievable. You just keep spouting bullshit, man. We don't want to test, so I'm going to show another dozen tests, okay, where in some cases the light would have to bend as far as the Statue of Liberty. So what I want you to do is show a test or get somebody to do it and show me a laser with somebody on the other side of the Statue of Liberty from 20 plus miles away, and show us seeing the laser from the other side of the Statue of Liberty. That's what you're claiming. And it's ridiculous. So in your world, that if say the Pontchartrain Bridge, for example, were a straight line, then it would be curving up on each end 120 feet. That's the world you live in, man. Bro, you think you just because you have the math all pounded out and rounded out with a model that it's reality. And we're telling you, we're showing you, we're getting out there and testing things. We're doing everything you say we're not doing to bring you and other people the truth, and you're working against us. What if you're wrong, man? Have you ever thought about that? What if these lasers aren't curving around a hump the size of the Statue of Liberty? How you going to feel, man? Until you go out and do tests, and I'm not talking about just measuring an angle with some buddies or looking on time and date. I'm talking about until you go do some tests. How can you even make these claims? Until that day comes, just quit lying and quit projecting on us, man. Look at the amount of curve that we'd have to see these lights. And some of these, you can see obviously that the light is hitting the camera lens directly. And here's one right here. Okay, maybe you could doubt that, but then look at the end of this. Tell me, boom, that's called a direct hit, man. That's when the light hits the lens. Okay, and then you say, well, y'all are doing things over water. So then we do one even longer over a railroad track, and you just ignore it, you know. And then then you're talking about the frequency of light, this and that. Then we go out and use multiple colored lights, measure down each one, show you on the odometer how far away we're traveling between lights, and how that miles away they line up in a perfect straight line, 4 different colored lights, and you just ignore it. It's just unbelievable, man, the amount of testing and the amount of stuff people have gone through to bring people the truth, and you're working against the truth, man. It's just so. Before you claim that we don't like to test things and we're cult members and cult leaders, get from behind the computer desk and go test it yourself and show us what we're doing wrong. Because everything you say is wrong, man, about optics and what we see. So please quit strawmanning us, saying that we're denying science and denying how refraction works. We understand that in a laboratory setting with lenses and eyeglasses, it's settled science. But when we're talking long-distance observations through different conditions, it's not. Even your own priest, Andrew Thomas Young, will tell you that science needs to be updated. But not you, Toon. You got it